Chapter 36. Kayu said, "Such is the base the ancients have given into our hands, but who could follow them into detail? I was not born into the world for this, but to choose from each and all of them, what all of them will accept. In the ancient days our country was sparsely settled, families were a good convenience. But, behold, the land is full of people. I have not to deal with a few scattered barbarians. I have to deal with a learned people who have scarcely room to stand. I am only one man, and we, but 72. Of ourselves, we can do nothing. Shangte, that is, the true God, hath shaped the times to our hands. Whether we live to see it, it mattereth little. The time will surely come, when the emperor will be obliged to destroy the books of the ancients. Let us therefore take the cream of them, and provide for their preservation, while we may." Kayu then divided up the labor amongst his 72 disciples, apportioning the books of the ancients justly amongst them. And so great was the wisdom and scholarship of Kayu, that in 12 days' time some of his disciples were ready with their reports to begin. And from these reports Kayu dictated, and the scribes wrote down his words. And it came to pass, that when a committee presented a revision before Kayu, that he even knew it before it was read in the council. And he dictated thereon, making the necessary alterations. After which, the subject was given to the scribes to rewrite out in full. Now the whole time of the first sitting of the council was 8.5 years, and then they had been over all the work. But so great was the wisdom and memory of Kayu, that he called out from the missings of his disciples sufficient to require yet 2 years more deliberation. And there were thus produced, from the lips of Kayu, 20 books, which contained the digest of upward of 18,000 books. Nor had any man in all the world ever done the 1/10th part so great a feat of learning. The scribes wrote 6 copies for every one of the disciples, and when they were thus provided, and were ready to depart, Kayu spake to them, saying, "What say ye, is the highest, best satisfaction?" And when the disciples had answered, some one thing, and some another, then the master said, "To know that one hath done the highest thing within his power, this is the highest, best satisfaction. For what is any man at most, but an agent of the Most High? To be true to one's own highest idea, is this not serving the Father? To be neglectful in such conviction, is this not the sickness of all the learned? What honor say ye hath any man?" The disciples answered, some one thing, and some another. After a while, the master said, "If those beneath him honor him, then it is no honor to him. If those above him honor him, then it is a reproval of his other deeds. But if he honor himself, he hath great honor indeed. But who can honor himself, save he is perfect in his own sight? He cannot do this, therefore he hath no honor in extreme. To choose little honor, to choose a medium line, is this not the highest any man can attain to? To grieve with one's own self, because of imperfection, this is great folly. To eat fruit and herbs and rice, these are the purest diet, but only a fool would starve rather than eat flesh. Rites and ceremonies are useful, but even these a man had better dispense with, than to go to war for them. To rest on the ancients only, this is great folly. To honor the ancients only, and to believe that they alone received revelation, these are the extremes of a foolish understanding. To remember that the Creator is ever present, and with as much power and love and wisdom today, as in the ancient days, this is wisdom. To try to find some good thing one can do, this is creditable. But to do nothing good, because one cannot do it in his own way, this is execrable. He who findeth a good work to do, and doeth it, hath much satisfaction. But he should not exult therein, for he hath only done his duty. I have no honor in these 20 books. 2 kinds of men I have found, those who are predestined by the gods to accomplish a certain work, and those who are born with no predestination. The first are erroneously called the highest, because they are at the head of great undertakings, but they are nevertheless but instruments, in the hands of the gods. The others, who are born without a predestined work, never can understand the former. To be born near enough to the light, to see it, and believe in it, and have faith in it, this is a great delight. To be so far from the Creator that one cannot believe in his person and presence, this is pitiable. I divorced my wife because I discovered she could not bring forth heirs to belief or faith. No man should be bound to a woman whose desires lay in the corporeal self, and women should have the same privilege. He who is wed to the Great Spirit, how can he dwell with one who is wed to the earth? To one man, celibacy is the highest life, because he hath joy in his heavenly Father. But to one who hath not this joy, celibacy is a great punishment. The society must admit both conditions. There is no mean betwixt these two, therefore, both must be provided for. Those who desire celibacy approach the termination of the race. Those whose desires are the other way are of a breed not so far on. There need be no quarrel betwixt them. The destiny of both must be completed sometime. When a country is sparsely settled, those of extremes can go and live aside. It is nothing to govern such a state, or to proclaim extreme doctrines before them. But when a country is full of people, the two extremes and the mean must dwell in proximity. It is not an easy matter to govern them wisely. Whatever people can dwell together in great numbers on the smallest piece of ground, and yet have peace and plenty, such a people are the highest of all peoples. Where an extreme doctrine cannot be carried out, it is better to have less extreme doctrine. People, like a drove of sheep, are much inclined to follow a leader. Herein, politicians and lawyers and judges run the state into war. To legislate in such a way that leaders cannot lead the multitude into evil, this is wisdom. Were all leaders dead, the people themselves would not be very bad. Yet it is wrong to take any man's life, for life is something man hath no property in. Life resteth with Jehovah only, it is his. Before the ignorant, and before fools, we speak by commandment. Yah hath passed that age, our books must go persuasively, yea,